We're gonna go there after the khutbah.
Yes. Come? Oh, you can't go my year. I have to go with them now. Where? Oh, you're gonna be at school. Yeah, so.
16 years old guy.
6'7".
You look older than the teacher, and you're going to what?
Yeah.
You're in high school. Where do you go to high school?
Clovis West.
Clovis is?
West.
Clovis West.
I used to go through Hanford West.
There's like Clovis East and Clovis West, or what?
There's Clovis East, Clovis West, Clovis North.
There's a Clovis North.
There's a Clovis North, Clovis East, Clovis West, Clovis High School. Go south.
For such a small area, that many high schools with that many different.
But Clovis is very much populated though. Very much populated.
Yeah, because everybody's running away from Fresno.
There's a lot of white. Clovis is very much populated. Like I went, wallahi, I passed by In-N-Out. I was about to go to In-N-Out. I seen so much fit now. Wallahi, I just drove right past.
All right, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right.
They seen our.
No, I told them to start it.
Oh, they listen to our private.
No, ain't no problem. I told them to start it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى باب هل يعين عبده. All right, so this is chat. Where's your book at?
I thought you already did it by the time I came back.
I don't know.
Go and get it from my car.
Yeah, go ahead. باب هل يعين عبده. So this is chapter 97, and this is a follow-up from the chapters that we took before, and it basically goes back to the issue that if you and this is not just for a servant or a slave, this is also even for a person who's mustajar, a person that you pay, even a person that you pay a wage, that you're using that person's services, that you don't give the person more work than they're able to do. And if you do give them more work than they're able to do, then it's upon you to help them, to assist them in getting that work done. All right, so this is a follow-up from those chapters. All right, so bab hal yu'inu abdahum. So hadith number 190. Hadathana Adam. All right, and we went over Adam before, like maybe was it like 2 pages ago? I think Adam here. This one is in fact the previous hadith. Adam ibn Abi Iyas. قال حدثنا شعبة. قال حدثنا أبو بشر. سمعت سلام ابن عمرو يحدث عن رجل من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أرقاؤكم إخوانكم فأحسنوا إليهم استعينوهم على ما غلبكم وعينوهم على ما غلبوا. All right, so this hadith. All right, we have Abu Bishr, who is Ja'far ibn Abi Wahshiyya. All right, Ja'far ibn Abi Wahshiyya. All right, and he is, let me see here. Now, the issue is not with Bishr. The issue is with Salam ibn Amr. Salam ibn Amr. All right, is a Liyashkuri, and he's da'if. He only narrates this hadith. He's got one person that narrates from him, which is Abu Bishr. Abu Bishr al-Wahshi is the only person that narrates from him. So if he only has one person that narrates from him, that makes him what? Majhul al-Ain. Majhul al-Ain. All right, so this hadith is da'if, but the hadith has shawahid. All right, the meaning of the hadith is sahih, but the chain of narration here is da'if. All right, so the hadith is thabit bi shawahidihi. So, all right. So he says, Salam ibn Amr yuhaddith an rajula min ashab al-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what do we do if we see this? We said if we ever have a mubham, what is a mubham in the chain of narration? Mubham, what does that mean? Rajulun mubham. في أي حديث يعني مثلا هم يقولون حدثني رجل هذا حدثني رجل يسمى no is مبهم from أبهم مبهم في أي حديث؟
Hadith number. Hadith number.
Oh, hadith we're in now, 190. So right now we have عن رجل من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is called al-ibham. If they don't name the person, you like they say like حدثني شيخي, but he has a whole bunch of different shuyukh and we don't know which sheikh it is. So this is like what? Rajulun mubham. Mubham, it means that he's not named. So here, if we have this in the chain of narration, is the chain da'if? Is it da'if?
Yes.
No, Hamid, a guess is a wahm. Now that's iham. Iham is a guess. But it's not a guess, it's a wrong guess. You know, if you say lahu awham, that means that he guessed wrong a lot. If you want to say guess in the Arabic language, what is guess? No, guess.
No, oh, guess. Like guess this or guess what happened or what kind of?
No, guess the answer. What? تخمين. يخمن. Like if I say, guess, do you know who came to my house yesterday? And he was like, who came? خمن أخي. خمن, I mean, guess who? Try to guess.
We say fikir. We say fikir.
Yeah, it is, no. That means think though. Guess is خمن. Wahm is like, for example, if somebody said, I don't know, man. Like you said, it was like Muhammad came. And there's a possibility of two Muhammads, right? Muhammad ibn Abdullah and Muhammad ibn Ahmed. But he guessed Muhammad ibn Ahmed, but it was Muhammad ibn Abdullah. You know, this is a wahm. Like he guessed wrong. Like he had information, but he didn't. He had to guess the rest, and it was wrong. So this is when they say like lahu awham in hadith. But mubham, it means that the person was not. It was just hadathani rajul. A man told me. Hadathana shaykhi, or hadathani shaykhun kabir. An old man told me, or something like this. So any of these types of things, this is what you call al-mubham. Now, but does this make the hadith da'if or no?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it would be like majhul.
It's not majhul, it's mubham. Majhul, we know the person's name, but we don't know what his hal is. Like here we see right now, Abu Bishr narrates Salam ibn Amr. Salam ibn Amr, the only person that narrates from him is Abu Bishr. We know this. But Salam ibn Amr is majhul al-ayn, not majhul al-hal. So what? Is it da'if or not da'if?
The hadith?
Yeah.
It's da'if.
If we say hadathani rajul.
Oh, no.
Man, y'all gotta pay attention, man. I hope the live stream. You guessed wrong, but I guess he's talking about.
Bro, put 3 S's after saying yes.
Look
at that.
I guess I'm not going to get the answer that I'm looking for. All right, if you see in the chain of narration, Hamid, yes and no, not absolutely. It's not da'if absolutely. You go back, you go through different chains of narration, and you see if the person was named in different narrations. And if he was named in different narrations and the person is thiqa or is at least saduq, all right, at least to the point where his hadith is accepted, then the hadith is accepted. All right, but if you go through every chain of narration and every chain of narration says what? Hadathani rajul, khalas, it's da'if. We don't accept hadith mubham. If we don't know who the person is that narrated the hadith, we don't accept it. All right, but first you have to follow up with the hadith. You have to go through the different chains of narrations to see, to check, and to see. The same thing with the mudallis. Just because the person did tadlis and he's a mudallis, that doesn't mean that the hadith is just absolutely da'if. You go up and you follow up. You look at the different chains of narrations, and you go and check: did he actually take hadith from this person? And did he narrate from this person saying haddathani Fulan. If he said that in a different narration, then that narration that he did tadlis in is authentic. It's accepted. But if every single narration that he narrates from that sheikh, he says an, he does his ana, then the hadith is rejected if he's a person from the level of tadlis, like a tadlis alladhi yadur. Like he's a big time mudallis, then at this time the hadith will not be accepted. But you have to go back through the different chains of narrations and you have to follow up. You can't just like look at the chain of narration, see that okay, this person's a mudallis and he said an fulan. Khalas, the hadith is da'if. No, you go back, you check the different chains and you see if there's another narration where he didn't do that. Same thing with we have a rajul mubham, person who's not named, we don't know who it is. All right, we go back and check. But here is a different thing because we have Salam ibn Amr yuhaddithu an rajulin min ashabin nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what about if the person is from the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but it's rajulun min ashabin nabi? So is it da'if?
No.
Why?
Because Sahabas are always accepted. We will know they're truthful.
They're all adu, all of them. All of the Sahaba have adala. So it doesn't matter. This ibham, it doesn't affect the narrations from the Sahaba. As long as it's thabit that person narrates from the Sahaba. All right, as long as it's thabit, like this person is known, like he's a student of the Sahaba. Obviously, if somebody like Malik ibn Anas, who's from the Atba' Tabi'een, says, حدثنا واحد من رجل من الصحابة, will we accept it? Huh? What about Sufyan al-Thawri? Sufyan al-Thawri says, حدثنا واحد من الصحابة. Will we accept it? Huh?
Yes.
What about Nafi'?
Of course.
All right, so if he's from the Tabi'een and he's known, he's a student of the Sahaba. So if he says حدثنا واحد من الصحابة أو رجل من الصحابة أو امرأة من الصحابة, no, there's no problem. But if he's like I said, Malik ibn Anas, who didn't narrate from the Sahaba, he narrated from the Tabi'een, then in this case, what? The hadith is da'if, it's munqati', khalas.
So what's the time span between Tabi'een and Atba' Tabi'een?
If he's not a student of the Sahaba, it doesn't matter. I mean, the only time that he could be a Tabi'i is he has to have sat with the Sahaba, studied with them.
So after
But the majority of the hadith that the Tabi'un, especially the Saghar Tabi'een, the majority of the hadith they took are from the Kibar Tabi'een. But, they sat at least with like some of the Sahaba, so they're just Saghar Tabi'een. The Kibar Tabi'een are the ones that sat with like 40, 50 of the Sahaba.
Like Sayyid and Imam Malik. No, not
Imam Malik didn't say what. Yeah, so Imam Malik, his strongest narration is narrating from Nafi', which is the Mawla of Ibn Umar. So that's his strongest chain.
So Ahmad would be considered Atba' Tabi'een and Bukhari and Muslim.
Bukhari, Muslim, and Ahmed are outside of. They're not from any of the Atba'.
They're not from the
No.
region, right?
No. I mean, there's some thulathiyat from. You have thulathiyat from Imam al-Bukhari, which means that he narrates from a sheikh, who narrates from a sheikh. All right, so his sheikh will narrate from a sheikh that narrates from the Sahabi, or no. He'll narrate from a sheikh that narrates from the Sahabi that narrates from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he has those. So let me see. I have to go back and check the narrations. If he actually sat with a,
So what about Shafi'i?
No, Imam Shafi'i is in the time of Imam Malik.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a student of Imam Malik. And even Imam Ahmed is in the later days of Imam Shafi'i. So, I mean, they were alive at the same time. But Imam Malik was born, Imam Ahmed, was born later. So you could check it. But, I mean, because even Imam Shafi'i praised Imam Ahmed. So, yeah.
Ahmad said Malik is an Imam in Hadith. Ahmad said Imam Malik is an Imam when it comes to Hadith.
Of course.
No, I'm just saying.
That's why you see his name in these chains of narration all the time. All right. So he said, Qala Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ariqa'ukum, and it's referring to your servants. Ikhwanukum, they're your brothers. Fahsinu ilayhim. So be good to them. Show very, very, kindness and gentleness. Just like the hadith that we just went over, in daily hadith, which was what? Ibrahim. What was the hadith that we just took in daily hadith? من لا يرحم الناس من لا يرحم الناس لا يرحمه الله. All right. So whoever does not show mercy to the people, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not show mercy to him. So you have to be good to the people. He said, رَقَاؤُكُمْ إِخْوَانَكُمْ, because they're your brothers. فَأَحْسِنُوا إِلَيْهِمْ. So this brotherhood does not extend just to because a person is of a low status. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even put him like, you know, tested him with being even the lowest of status. They're still our brothers and they still deserve good treatment. أَسْتَعِينُهُمْ عَلَى مَا غَلَبَكُمْ. Seek their help for tasks that are above your capabilities, that you're not able to do. You know, seek their help for things that you're not able to do. وَعِينُهُمْ عَلَى مَا غُلِبُوا. And help them for the tasks that they're not able to do. So when you give them work that they're not able to do, that's not within their capabilities, then you help them. And just like you seek their help when you need help, then you help them when they need help. You know, so this is like I said, the hadith, the chain of narration is not authentic, but the meaning is. So the hadith is thabit as far as bishawahid. And all these hadith that we've taken previously, they, like you say, bolster on this hadith. All right, so hadith number 191. حدثنا يحيى بن سليمان إذا الجعفي قال حدثني ابن وهب المصري قال أخبرنا عمرو بن الحارث also المصري عن أبي يونس عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أنه قال. And Abu Yunus is the Mawla of Abi Hurairah. And his name is Sulaim ibn Jubair. And he's thiqa. أنه قال عين العامل من عمله فإن عامل الله لا يخيب يعني الخادم. So he said, Ainu al-amil. Al-amil here, it means al-khadim. So, yani al-khadim, and it goes back to that. Ainu al-amil, min amalihi. فَإِنَّ عَامِلَ اللَّهِ عَامِلَ الَّذِي يَعْمَلْ لِلَّهِ, you know, مُخْلِصًا لِلَّهِ. لَا يَخِيب. Whoever does any action for Allah, that means when you go and you see that he's having difficulties or trouble trying to finish a task, and you go and you help him, but you help him for the sake of Allah. You know, you help him because this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded you to do. He said, فَإِنَّ عَامِلَ اللَّهِ لَا يَخِيب. لَا يَخِيب means what? Huh? Yeah, he won't be disappointed. He won't have any type of nadama, any type of disappointment, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the reward that he deserves for doing that for his sake. So, يعني al-khadim, it goes back to al-amil, al-amil. فَإِنَّ عَامِلَ اللَّهِ, it goes back to the person who's doing this for the sake of Allah. The hadith is Hasan. It's Hasan because of Yahya bin Sulaiman, which is the Shaykh of Bukhari al-Ju'fi. He is Saduq. So that makes the hadith Hasan. But other than that, then the hadith is, you know, alhamdulillah. Everybody else is thiqat. What does that mean? Yunus is the Mawla of Abi Hurairah. What does that mean? Mawla Abi Hurairah. What does that mean? You have to keep checking just to make sure that the sound is still on. I got like PTSD with microphones, man. Hi. Go ahead, answer, man. They're not looking like they're doing anything.
Oh, so a Mawla is someone who got if someone like Mawla Ibn Umar, like Ibn Umar freed Nafi', and now Nafi' is known as Mawla Ibn Umar, the one who got freed from Ibn Umar.
Yeah, so Yunus here is Mawla Abi Hurairah, which means Abu Hurairah freed him. All right, and took him as a student, taught him hadith, and then he became an imam in hadith. So, mashallah. See, nobody would ever want to be a slave. But if I ever had to be a slave, let me to be the slave of Abi Hurairah or something like that. Like teach me hadith, man. Just imagine the ni'mah. Because subhanAllah, you're dealing with a person that that's not going to mistreat you. It's not going because he's always trying to memorize the hadith and practice the hadith. You know this. So along with that, if that ever happened to you, that's the best case scenario right there, boy. SubhanAllah. Can't get better than that, man. Abu Nusayba says slave has negative connotations. Yeah, but that's slavery. It's a reality. It happened. Just because the West makes everybody crybabies about certain words and you can't say this, you can't say this. It's in the hadith. It's in the hadith. I don't care what the West says about, what we can't say. Well, this is the reality of what happened. We're not going to sit here and try to pretend like stuff didn't happen. It happened. Khalas. Negative connotation or not. This is the reality of life. These things happen. We don't sit here and just cover it up and, water things down because the West wants to, make like victims and crybabies out of everybody. Khalas. Those things happen. And the people that it happened to in the past, they moved on with their lives. Khalas. But sit here and like cry over these things in 2024 when this stuff doesn't even exist anymore, well, it's foolish. All right.
People that's coming. Look who it's from.
Yeah, we're all slaves of Allah.
No,
but I'm saying, it's in all the books. It's not a religious text that the word wasn't sent down. So. What's that?
No, it's because I told you about some guy. He doesn't even go to Mr. Fresno. He was going around saying, you got to love and respect and admire every other religion out there. And then I told Abdul Malik about him. He's eating a big old 4x4 cheeseburger. And then he looked at me and he said, who says I got to respect shit with the meat face? So now I asked him, I said, what does Abdul Malik not respect? It was that night when that guy who was saying you were assaulting me, the night when me and Abdul Malik went to In-N-Out at like
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go to like these places at 2 a.m. and expect like to meet like Mr. Rogers or something out at like what do you expect? Like, you can expect chaos, man. I mean, just going out at 2 a.m. without a pistol, I mean that just goes to show you,
normal.
Huh?
It's normal.
Normal what?
To go out like this.
Yeah, but it's also normal to have those types of confrontations with stupid people.
In Florida. Over here, it's just like don't talk to them, they don't talk to you. Majority of the time. I'm sorry, I have to really take this phone call.
Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
MA said, is it permissible to eat the food given for Mawlid if you have no intention of celebrating it? Actually, I wouldn't eat nothing that they did for the purpose of that. Nothing. Because if they slaughtered for that purpose and everything, then all of that food is tainted. I wouldn't touch any of that. I would not touch any of that. And if they're celebrating it at the masjid and they got the food at the masjid, you partaking in the food is a form of celebrating it. So, you stay away from all of that. Stay away from all of that. Instead, can we get a da'wah? Yeah, it's at the bookshops. You can order it, man. Along with time. When I start to read it, when I actually sit down and read it and start to pick out sections, inshallah, that we go over. But like right now, I'm too busy trying to go through Sharia to get everything ready for the class, inshallah. Is it permissible for a woman to go out with another woman if they don't wear the proper hijab? It's better not to. I mean, unless it's like your family. If it's it's like your mother or something like that. But otherwise, I mean, if it's your friends, it's like people that you have a choice to be around, and you shouldn't be around them because they start to attract negative attention. They attract negative attention. I mean, you already live in the West, right? So if you're dressed properly as a Muslim woman, and you're already getting negative attention, you know. So you don't need extra stuff with like women wearing things that are attracting attention more than what you need. What's the hal of an imam who claims Salafi but isn't surrounded by any Salafis, only Ikhwanis? And it came in the hadith. You know, it's a hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. المرء على دين what the Prophet ﷺ said, المرء على دين خليله فلينظر أحدكم من يخالل. Right? So a person is on the deen of his companions, of his closest companions, of his most intimate companions. So if he's hanging around Ikhwanis and he's not hanging around Salafis, then what does that say? Is he going to sit there and say, oh, I'm giving dawah to them? No, if you were giving dawah to them, then what? You would be around the Salafis most of the time and you would go and give dawah to them and leave. You wouldn't hang around them. You don't hang around people. You don't hang around kuffar and go hang out with them at their houses and watch sports with them while they're smoking weed, while they're doing this, talking about you giving dawah to them. They're giving dawah to you. You give dawah to them, you stay around the people of khair. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. You know, you remain patient with the people of khair, with the people that call on their Lord night and day. Those are the people that you stay around with. Those are the people of the sunnah. And you go and you give dawah to the people, but that doesn't, mean that you're sitting there hanging around with them and all your close companions are Sufis and Ikhwanis, and then you look around and this person has no companions from Ahl Sunnah, but he says, I'm Salafi. Oh, it's in my heart. No, if it's in your heart, it comes out in your actions. There's no way that a person can love the Sunnah and have love and love for the people who go against it. How can you do that? That doesn't even make sense. That's like saying, could you imagine saying, I love my father, but I'm best friends with the man who insults my father and fights him? And it would be like, come on. I mean, how do you love your father and you're best friends with a person who's insulting him? And, doesn't even make sense, right? But here, this is even greater. You're talking about the Sunnah, and then you're talking about the people that go against the Sunnah night and day, call the people away from the Sunnah, people that are involved in politics, people that are involved in all this type of foolishness, and these are his companions. No, it's better to have one companion. It's better to have no companions. It's better to live alone, and your only companion is books than to surround yourself by a bunch of hizbis. People from the Ikhwan, people from the Sufis, people from... you go and give the people dawah. The people need dawah in the West. So it's not like we're sitting here trying to have this caveman mentality where we're like trying to hide away from the people and sit up in the mountains. No, and we're not mixing. We go and we teach the people. But when we talk about taking companions and close friends, we're going to be going out and eating pizza together. We're going to hang out together. No, we don't take these people as companions like that. You sit down with them, you give them dawah, you leave. You invite them to the masjid, invite them to the classes, try to get them to learn their deen. And that's it. That's the gist of it. You don't just keep rolling around, hanging out with them. So that's already showing that the person has some sickness in their heart. You can delay Salat al-Isha to midnight. Because the Prophet ﷺ آخر الصلاة إلى منتصف الليل فقال هذا وقته لولا أن أشق على أمتي. So one night he delayed the Salat al-Isha into the middle of the night, and he said, this is the time for it if it weren't for me making difficulties upon my ummah. Abu Nusayba said, Ustaz, should we take ghusl before Fajr or after? It has to be after Fajr. If you're talking about the Jum'ah, it has to be after Fajr. You can go pray Fajr, come home and take you can take the ghusl once the adhan, because the issue is the time of the subh, the sabah, it comes in at the adhan of Fajr. At that point, you could take any from that time on, you could take the ghusl. Said, Ustad, if we put moisturizer lotion on our face, arms, and feet, do we have to remove the layers on the skin, or will a simple wudu suffice? If you put the stuff on before, it should already basically most of it be gone and in the skin anyways. And obviously you're not going to put moisturizer on your skin and then make wudu right after it, right? You would make wudu and then put the moisturizer.
What page are we on for
We're on hadith number, I don't know, because you got a different book, man.
It's the same. It's the same thing.
Same numbers.
Yeah.
Hadith 1047. I can't see this question at the bottom. He said, Ustad, what's our situation regarding hijrah while we, I think he's saying, while we are living here in the West? A lot of brothers want to make hijrah, but have a warped understanding. Please clarify. Yeah, listen. You have to have one of three things that you should be doing in America. And if you aren't doing one of these three things, then you need, to worry about following in major sins. Either one, you're giving dawah. And even if you're giving dawah, you should not have a plan to stay here. You should not want to be raising your family here. And hijrah should be on your mind 24/7. That you come here, you teach the people, because the thing about it is this society is not conducive for the people studying their deen anyways. So you come here as a student of knowledge, you motivate the people, you get them, they want to go out and study. If you sit back and you have, like, let's say 20 or 30 students, out of those 20 or 30 students, maybe 3 or 4 of them are going to leave the country and go study. Maybe less, maybe nobody. It depends on the situation of the people. Fareed, rahimahullah, he had all the students that sat around him. When I was with him, everybody left the country at one point or another. Not everybody stayed out of the country. Some people left for a year or two. Some people left for 21 years, and some people are still in Saudi Arabia right now. Brothers that I know that are still in Saudi right now. They didn't go back to America. They'll go back and visit, and then they go back to Saudi. So that's one thing. Number two is that you're not giving dawah, but you have to have the intentions of what? You're preparing, like you're saving your money and you're getting ready to leave. Or two, like you have the means and you're preparing and you're getting ready to leave. Or two, the third one actually, is the person who doesn't have the means. He can't leave, even if he wanted to. He doesn't have the financial situation is not in his favor. But he should have the intentions to leave as soon as his situation, and he should be up trying to pray every single night, trying to make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitates that for him, to get him out of this, amongst these kuffar. Because nobody should want to stay here. Nobody. Well, I hate every single day I have to wake up in this hellhole of a country. Wallahi, this is evil. Every day that we have to come out here and we see all these crackheads out in the street and all the foolishness that we see is horrible. Nobody should want to stay here. The only reason why I want to be here right now is just to help the brothers out, try to motivate the people to wake up and start following the sunnah and leave. I don't want my kids here. I don't want to be here. This place is horrible. This place is really, really horrible, and it kills your heart every single day that you wake up here, every day that you walk out of your house. Every Muslim should have, at least, the very least, the intention of getting out of the West. These kuffar don't want us. Khalas, we leave. We want to stay here for. What do we want to stay here for? And then the worst thing is because of what they're pushing and all the stuff that's like what they're, you see, we're in America. Look how long you've been alive, right? Have you ever heard the people talking about World War III as much as they do today? Huh? You hear it a lot nowadays, though, don't you? And what do you think is going to happen if America attacks Russia? Wherever you are, that's where you stay. That's where you're going to be locked down. So, everybody should at least have the intentions to get up out of here before all that stuff starts happening. At least, be in a Muslim country and die there. Better than dying amongst these kuffar. A'udhu billah, wallahi, that's the worst thing I could ever imagine. Is being here and me dying here, my kids dying here. Oof. I'd rather die in the middle of the ocean, akhi, than to die amongst these kuffar. So, Allah musta'an. Hamid said, we're losing our iman little by little. That's for the people that even have little to lose. You know what I'm saying? The majority of the Muslims, akhi, is just like serious. They're Muslims, but it's like absolutely no Islam. Like you see no Islam whatsoever in their behavior and anything that they do, other than the fact that they pray 5 times a day, if they do that. So, Allahumma musta'an. He said, like I said, Wajdi, he came to Los Angeles after I had already left. So I think Wajdi, he got to LA after a lot of the brothers had already gone overseas and left. There was like two main brothers, which is they went to study in Riyadh before I left. Then I left and went to Texas, and then I eventually left. And another brother, Adam, ended up in Yemen, and so everybody kind of left one by one. But Wesdy came a little bit later. He came like once we were all overseas, most of us. Ahmed Fareed said, "But where should we move?" So that's what you got to research. You know, there's a lot of Muslim countries. It depends on what you're trying to do. You know, you're trying to go to a Muslim country just to live with the Muslims, or are you trying to go to a Muslim country because you're trying to learn the deen? So that's what you got to look at. If you're trying to learn the deen, you go to Yemen. I would say Mauritania, but Mauritania is like not really strong on like as far as teaching the Sunnah and practicing the Sunnah. So, and their Aqidah, you know, even the people that claim to be Salafis in Mauritania, that I mean, you know, I don't know, man. I met some brothers from Ahlul Sunnah, like brothers like real Salafis from Mauritania, but they weren't Sardi though. They weren't in, you know. Muhammad Fatima says, "Who says pistol anymore?" Obviously me, because I say you go out with a pistol. From the South, man, we still say pistol. Muhammad Fatima says, "Who says pistol anymore?" Obviously me. All right, now we're having problems with the internet, so the phone didn't die. It was just the internet connection. So we kept we had to switch over to the internet for the phone. There's some questions up here. What are your thoughts on some brothers who had to sign a selective service waiver when they were young and not practicing, and did it? I don't even know what that is. What is that?
They still do that.
What is that?
They send you like I get it. I never signed it though. They sign it and it's for like the draft. They go to war so that everybody's supposed to sign it, and they say that they're gonna arrest you. But I never signed it. I never been arrested.
Let them arrest you.
That's why I didn't sign it.
Yeah.
My grandma and my mom sitting there all, "Oh no, you need to sign this." No,
Now, once you sign it, now you binding by contract. You don't sign it. You don't have to sign nothing. Let them arrest you. You go to court and say there's nothing in the laws that says I have to sign this anyways. There's no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't sign it. But he said, what are your thoughts on some brothers who had to sign a selective service waiver when they were young and not practicing, and do they have to honor this contract? Absolutely not. They don't have to honor that contract at all. You don't fight with the kuffar. You don't go into the military. You don't go into anything. It's not even permissible. Like, think about it, right? You live in Yemen, right? For example, is it permissible for you to join the military in Yemen? What do you say? Is it permissible? Sardiya, you live in Sardiya. Can you join the military in Sardiya? It's not permissible. It's haram. Why? They're not fighting. This is not a military setup. This military is set up to do what? To protect the government, to protect the state, not to, protect the Sunnah, protect the Deen. We don't need a military. The Muslims have always been their own military. You always, alhamdulillah, but to protect, like to go into these types of militaries and join them and give your oath to them and all this, that's not permissible, even in a Muslim country. So forget the kuffar. No, if Sardiya gets attacked, then you think the military going to do? Nothing. Who's going to stand up and defend that country? The Muslims. The people of the Sunnah. That's the people of the Sunnah are the people that Allah gives victory to. You think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives victory to people calling to like qawmiyah and nationalism and all this type of stuff? Nah. So no, I mean you don't honor any contract with anything that involves you going into the whatever consequences you have to happen, whatever. Go to jail, go whatever. Sit in jail and memorize the Quran. Be patient. But to like go into the military with them, no, absolutely not. You have to give your oath to them, and there's so much everything. There's nothing halal about it. Anonymous said, my mom or aunt being kicked out from the house, would that be a maslahah? I don't know. Is there another part of this question? Assalamu alaikum. So the ruling on listening to a special bayan lecture on 12 Rabi al-Awwal and distributing sweets with my cousins to the neighbors, if I fear that opposing this would lead to my mom or aunt being kicked out of the, why would they be kicked out of the house because you're not celebrating something like this? Ahmed Fareed said, I'm from Afghanistan. Should I move because of politics? At any time that you're in a Muslim country and you're having difficulty practicing your deen, and practicing your deen, it means practicing the sunnah, calling the people to Tawheed. If you can't do that, then you leave that country and you go to another country that you can do that, even if it's a Muslim country. So even if you're in a Muslim country that's oppressive, you know, and they're not allowing you to do these things, and you go to a country that you can do that, you know. Where did Hamza go? Are you still on the phone?
Yeah.
And May said the internet couldn't handle the bandwidth of the sunnah. Yeah, I guess it couldn't handle it because they deleted the 81st live stream. They deleted it. You know, I don't know. We lost that live stream for whatever reason. It was up for like 24 hours and it got taken down. Don't know what happened to it. But it's not, I don't think YouTube took it down, because if YouTube takes it down, they have to like say, we took this video down because kada wa kada, but there was no email or no nothing. So it's probably just something, you know, the system or whatever, it just got lost. So 81 is not there. So if people ask why is 81 not there, now you know. Go, somebody, you want to make it? We see a few brothers go there and go, what is it? Instead, someone said can't make kids cut out birthdays cold turkey and need to work with them slowly so they don't hate religion. I would rather them finish up cold turkey than you keep lying to them. Then your kids come up and learn the sunnah and then they hate you for lying to them and making them practice this garbage for their whole entire life. You shouldn't be practicing with them in the first place, you know. And the thing is, like, some people, they try to say, oh, we're not going to celebrate birthdays, but we're just going to do something different to make them. Well, you do something different that day, then what is that doing? Celebrating the birthday, ain't it? If you do anything out of the ordinary, like that day is a normal day in your life, nothing should change. If you change any special behavior, you decide, well, we're just going to order pizza tonight because we want, well, but we're not going to celebrate the pizza, the birthday. We're just going to order pizza. That ordering pizza, if that's not your custom, then khalas, you just celebrated that kid's birthday, ain't it? So, instead of stuff, I got to go back to Bangladesh and live in the village. You don't have to go back to Bangladesh. You can go anywhere. I mean, alhamdulillah, and out of Allah, he was here. So,
What the question about the skin phase? Question about the skin phase.
The what?
Question about the skin phase.
Where is that at?
It's right above them.
Well, it is because it keeps skipping, so I keep. Ustaz, can you please define qaza haircuts? I heard a mufti say he doesn't consider a skin fade qaza. Then that's not a mufti, that's a muftin. And he's a muftoon. All right, any time that you cut the hair and any part of the hair, you either keep it long or cut it off. But to cut like some parts short and keep other parts long, that's what a qaza is. And that's what a fade is. A fade is that it fades, right? So it starts off with nothing. Yeah, it starts off bald and then it starts to fade into like what? Hair. So that means that the hair is not the same length. That is a qaza. And the qaza used to be done with the children, with the babies, not with the grown men. Grown men didn't used to do this. So stop acting like babies. You know, have the haircut of a man. I mean, this wasn't an issue. If you go back and read the hadith in Sunan Abi Dawood, this was an issue for children, for little babies. It's not an issue for men. And who would have thought that we'd be living in 2024 and now we have these issues like, oh, subhanAllah, look at the stuff that we hear on a daily basis anyways, you know. These kuffar, wallah, man, they come with some ajaib, wallah, nowadays. They don't even know what a man and a woman is anymore. And people talk about, should we make hijrah? Dude, you literally have people being taught in college that gender is whatever you think it is. You know, I'm serious. Like, and you want to ask, should we make hijrah? Yeah, if you don't have to make hijrah if you want your son growing up wearing a dress. Go ahead and stay here. I think we're about to lose another live stream. I think this was gonna be. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe I said some rainbow stuff. I don't know. Like I was, talking about the rainbow folks too much. Who knows? Well, Striving Slave says, was watching Daily Hadith, and when you mentioned making hijrah from sins, hating them in heart, practical tips for this. That's the first hijrah, and because you can't make hijrah with your body until you made hijrah first with what? With your heart, because that's from the from the iman, right? And يكره أن يعود في الكفر كما يكره أن يعود إلى الكفر كما يكره أن يقذف في النار. That the person that has true belief in his heart, like the Prophet ﷺ said, is that he hates returning to kufr. He hates returning to disbelief, just like he would hate being thrown in the fire. So I mean, a hatred for kufr and a hatred for their lifestyle, hatred for everything that they do, that's wajib. That's wajib. That's a condition of your iman. And that hatred doesn't mean that you go around and because a lot of the people are going to sit there and say, oh, these Muslims are so intolerant. Look at them talking about hatred. This is hate speech and hatred. This doesn't mean that you go out and act all, violating their rights and beating them up in the streets. And, that doesn't mean hatred that drives you to violence and aggressive behavior. Because the kuffar, their hatred does what? It drives them to do what? It drives them to be aggressive and violent. Whenever they hate somebody, what do? They have to show their hatred through what? Aggressive behavior and violence. That's what they're shown to do. So as-sariq yakhaf as-sariq. The thief is always afraid of what? Another thief. So when we start talking about hatred, they think that we're talking about the same thing that they do. What is their history of hatred? Their history is a history of aggression against people, transgression against people, violence against people, slaughtering people. That's not the understanding that we have of hatred. Hatred, it means that what? If we hate something, that means we want nothing to do with it. We want nothing to do with it. So that doesn't mean that so I don't want the people to get confused when I say it's an obligation to hate these things, that hatred is the understanding that these kuffar understand of hatred. No, our hatred and our lack of tolerance for these things, it means that we don't want them in our lives. We don't want kufr in our lives. We don't want our kids growing up listening to Tupac or whatever garbage the people listen. I don't think they listen to that nowadays, but whatever garbage the people listen to nowadays. We don't want our kids growing up watching stupid movies and looking at actors like they're the heroes and then not focusing on the Sahaba, not focusing on the things that they should be focusing on. We don't want that in our lives, right? So we hate it. That hatred causes us to get that stuff out of our lives. If we keep holding on to it, which most of us all do, we're holding on to something. We're all holding on to something, right? But we have to get rid of it, and that's that hijrah, making that hijrah from because your breaking away is hard. But just imagine, right? You're in the bilad al-kufar. You're amongst your family. You're amongst everything that you know. But you have difficulty severing yourself from that lifestyle. There's a pain because there's an attachment to that. That's how you grew up. We grew up in this lifestyle. You understand? So, even though we hate the lifestyle, but we found comfort in that lifestyle because this is what we know. It's what we grew up in. So you think that it's not painful and difficult to detach yourself from that lifestyle, detach yourself from those friends that you grew up around? That's hard. Yeah. Did anybody find ease in that? Become a Muslim and then now all of a sudden all the stuff that you see now is haram. That's difficult. But just imagine this. If you find too much difficulty doing this, where you can't do this, how are you going to be patient now leaving the country to go to another country? You can't even have the patience to sever yourself from these things here. While you're here, while you're amongst your family. Now what happens now when you're not even amongst your family? When you leave your family and you leave your country, You leave everything you know to go to another country of people that probably don't even care about you, but you're going there because they're Muslim, you're Muslim, and yallah, you know, that's it. So if you can't separate yourself from these things here, then you give it up trying to, you know, what are you going to do over, what are you going to do? You're going to go overseas. Oh, I miss my mom. Oh, I miss my house. Oh, I miss the restaurants by my house. Oh, I miss this. Oh, I miss that. And then what's next thing you know, there you are boarding a flight going back to America because you can't be patient, because you couldn't detach yourself from those things here. So you have to start detaching yourself. That hijrah is wajib upon everybody. That hijrah, that hijrah of, you know, ma nahallahu anhu, from the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited, that's wajib. That's farad ayn. That's, you know, upon every single Muslim, whether or not he lives in a Muslim country or not. So if you can't start making hijrah from those things, then what are you going to do? You know, how are you going to be patient? You know, subhanAllah. So no, that's the most important thing. And for the people that read Arabi, you get Ibn al-Qayyim's book, Tariq al-Hijratain, because that's the basis of that book. The basis of that book, and he tells you this is the way you go about it.
Is it, if you make hijrah, is it permissible to come back like once or twice a year to visit family?
For like 10 days. You can come in for like
a weekend.
Yeah, very small. I think it's even less than 10 days. But hey, you come back, you visit, and you leave. That's it. But you can't stay. You can't, not to the point where you become muqim. You know, you stay for long enough to where you're still considered a traveler when you leave. Yeah. I'm like, you know, oh, we got your room ready, and you know, we left it just the way you left it, and then next thing you know, 2 months go by, and you're still like, I'm leaving soon. Wait, you know, Allah musta'an. Abdul Malik said, whenever they're playing with the money, they always scare the people at the end of the world. I think they're a little bit serious this time. Like they're trying to bring everything down. But that's only for their own destruction, though. He said, downstairs, stop hating. What is she hating on, man? I don't know, man. I never, maybe Abdul Malik can tell me, but I think this law must have came into being after I left America, because I never heard about this law. Selective service, I've never heard of this. Well, this must have happened like after like 2000 or what, 2001 or what? After September 11th, maybe, or something like that.
They keep sending it to my house over and over, and they're like, they don't stop sending it to my house because I don't sign it. So I keep getting it.
And when they send it to your house, right, unsubscribe, send it back or something, or something, you know. All right, let's take the Bulugh al-Maram, inshallah, and then we got, because there's too many questions. We'll be here all day. Is that what you're looking at the live stream or what? Oh.
I was looking at the
Oh, okay. That's a good book, man. It's a very good book. All right, so the first hadith, all right, 1047. وعن أنس رضي الله عنه قال أقام النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بين خيبر والمدينة 3 ليال يبنى عليه بالصفية فدعوت المسلمين إلى وليمته فما كان فيها من خبز ولا لحم وما كان فيها إلا أن أمر بالأنطاع فبسطت فألقى عليها التمر والأقط والسمن متفق عليه واللفظ للبخاري. So here, this is Anas radiallahu anhu, he's reporting that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam aqama, it means that he remained, he stayed in this place, bayna Khaybar wal Medina, for 3 nights. Yubna alayhi bis-Safiya, when he got married, so he stayed for the 3 nights with her. فدعوت, and we're going to go over this about the qasm, inshallah. So he said, فدعوت المسلمين, and he called the Muslims, ila walimati, so he invited them all to attend his walima. So he said, فَمَا كَانَ فِيهَا مِنْ خُبْزٍ, and he said there was no bread there, وَلَا لَحْمٍ, and there was no meat. So no meat, no bread. All right, because their situation was difficult. وَمَا كَانَ فِيهَا, and he said that there was nothing in there except an amara bil anta. Al anta is a sufra min al jild. So like a sufra is like what the Arabs put down, like a mat that they put down to eat on top of, so you don't get the, no, we do this now because obviously we don't want to get the floor dirty, or like we want to limit the amount of dirtiness, because I don't care how many sufras you put down, boy. If you got sons like I got sons, boy, they're gonna manage to like make sure that some rice falls not on that sufra somehow. Kids will do that, huh? Well, this is what we do it for, to keep the house clean. They more than likely did it because obviously the places, like, they're eating outside altogether, so there's a lot of dirt and stuff like that so it's really to keep the food clean, So you lay down the mat and you put the food on top of the mat. So this is what this bil anta. Al anta is the plural form. So he didn't just come with one, because obviously there's a bunch of people, right? So it's not just one huge one, but al anta is the plural form of this is a nata, well, a nutr. Either one is correct. All right, and this is the singular form. So that means that he came with a lot of different mats and laid them out. But it has to. You only use the word al-anta if it's made from a jild, if it's made out of skin. All right, if it's made out of any other type of like fabric or any type of material, then it's not called al-nutr. All right. So he said, فَأَلْقَى عَلَيْهَا, and then they put on top of it tamar, so dates, wal-aqat, which we talked about al-aqat before, is what? It's a type of halib mujaffaf. It's like dried milk, but it's like rocks, It's not like Nido. It's not so I don't want you to think like halib mujaffaf, like this Nido type stuff. No, but it's like a rock. You got to crush it up. You mix it. You can mix it with water and make a sauce out of it. It's like real and bitter, real bitter. Yeah, but it's good. When we finish the class, are you in a hurry?
Oh, you finished the class by now, or is it still long?
We're doing. Go pray. Yeah. And then he said, well, aqat was saman. Saman is a ghee. It's ghee. We talked about this before. Ghee. All right. Well, you don't know what ghee is. You don't know what ghee is?
Like butter or something?
No, it's not like butter. They take the butter and they put it on the fire, and the whole point is to take all the moisture out of the butter. So you're just left with just that fat, that fat, and with no water in it, because the water is what causes the butter. If you don't have it refrigerated, it's just going to go bad. It's going to go bad really fast because of the water in it. So you're taking all that moisture out of it, and they put other, they use different types of stones and stuff like that to give it a certain taste. Like, for example, if you see like the salmon and they use it from different animals, like, and like in Somalia, they use the salmon they get it from the goats and they get it from the camels. And the salmon from the camels, oh my God, from Somalia, whoo, that's good. That is so good, boy. That is so good. And this is what they give to the people when they get married. It's like, here you go. This is gonna, but what they do in Somalia, I don't know if we got any people, any Somalis in the chat, but they have a thing, it's called al-Utka. You know what al-Utka is? Never heard of this? All right. They take the camel meat and they cut up the camel meat and they dry it out in the sun. So it's like dry, it's like jerky, right? And then they cut it up in small little pieces. And they mix that up and they put that in with salmon from the camels. That same salmon, right? And they keep it like this. So what you do is, and they give this to the people when they get married. So the woman, she takes this utka, and every morning she just scoops it out with the salmon and the meat, and she fries it up for the man, and he eats it with like lahur or any type of the main type of bread. Somebody up here knows. He said dried camel meat and ghee. Jet City Jones. Somebody knows about utka, and that's good. Oh, that is so good. That is so good. But if you're single, that is not food for you, Holmes. You do not eat that if you are single. You wait. That's why they give it to the married folks, because that is so good, though. That is so good. SubhanAllah. But yeah, but the salmon, like you see, like from the sheep, from the camel, it has a different taste than from the cow. The cow, the taste is like, it's more buttery. But like from the one that they make from the camel, it has this taste of like hickory hatab, like firewood. It's a taste, and it's so, man. You could take a scoop of it and put it in the rice, and the whole rice will taste like it. The whole rice is oh boy. That's why those Bedouins, you go to like Somalia, you see those Somali Bedouins. Those dudes are strong, man. Those dudes are strong because one, they're camel herders, and you can't be a weak dude dealing with camels because camels are known for being what? They're like the most stubborn of all the creatures that Allah has created. Out of the livestock, they are the most stubborn. You tell a camel, don't go over there, the camel goes, don't go over there. A camel is like most Americans. Like you just tell him don't do it, and he's going to do it. But they're real. They have this evil nature. If you slap them, the camel will be like, all right, I remember that. And he'll get you back like 2-3 years later. He'll catch you where he can like looking around, and he'll like run and hit you or drop his head on you. Or I told y'all the story of Sheikh Mobile said one time. The story I told y'all that, right? About the camel, and the guy hit his camel, and then the camel every day he kept looking over like, because he wanted to get back at him, but he's waiting for him to be in bed one day, and then the guy noticed it because he's lived around camels. He knows these camels. He kept seeing them looking at him. He's like, nah, man, this camel, he's up to something, So one day he stuffed his bed like it looked like a person was sleeping in there, and the camel was over there. He was outside at the window, and he was watching, and the camel went into his room and dropped his whole body, boom, onto the bed to kill him. Like his whole purpose was to kill him. And the guy was at the window. He said, ha! And the camel's like, because he knows it's game over, boy. He's about to get a knife in his throat. Now, boy, you about to, it's over for you, Holmes. It's done. You about to get done.
Revenge takes good.
Huh?
Revenge takes
Well, I'm pretty sure he ate that camel up. But yeah, the camels, they're very, very rough. So anybody that deals with camels, their nature starts to become like the nature of what the animal that they deal with. So you see like the sheep, the people with sheep, they're like softer, quieter, nicer, more humble. The people that herd the camels, they're like real rough, no manners. They'll just spit next to you and pee in the streets. And, this is how the Bedouins are. When they come into the city, they'll be like, dude, just go to the restaurant. No, he'll go behind the car, squat, and go to the bathroom in the middle of the street. How you gonna see that all in Sana'a?
In Sana'a, I've seen a bunch of women herding the sheep. And girls, like a lot of teenage girls too, herding sheep.
Yeah, mostly it's the girls that go, but you're not.
I even seen a girl like this tall, little, like I think like a 7-year-old girl.
Nah, but they're not the ones. They're the ones herding. They're the ones walking with the sheep. But her father or her brothers are up somewhere with an AK-47 in case you decide, oh, look, a girl out in the middle of the desert alone, you're going to get a bullet in your head really, really fast. So she's not alone, trust me. She's walking around because they also got hyenas up in those mountains. So they're not just going to let those girls walk around. Yeah, I've seen them.
Have you ate one?
Huh?
You ate it?
No, but the brothers didn't. I didn't eat it. The Libyans, they ate it because the Libyans, they love hyenas. That's like a culinary feast for them. That's like when it was the one Damaji, he shot a hyena who was trying to steal the chickens, but he didn't kill it. So he was literally inside the area of Damaj where the mesh is at, because the chickens are way up on the mountains, like at the base of the mountains. So like maybe half a mile away from the Marquez. So the hyena was like, limping, and man, those Libyans scooped him up. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Had him stripped down, and once you strip them down, it just look like a sheep.
Okay. Oh yeah. So if you have a rifle, let's say a sheep or a hyena or a deer or whatever, you just point the rifle.
Why would you shoot a rifle? Why would you shoot a sheep with a rifle?
No. Just saying, like, if just
No, but no, there's not a scenario. That's a scenario of like a person who's on drugs.
Or someone says like someone his name's Hunter, huh?
Oh my God, the sheep is dangerous. He's gonna kill us. And what are you gonna shoot a
Or
sheep with
a deer. You're hunting in the forest with a deer and you have a rifle. So you just gotta say Bismillah before you shoot it, and it dies. Like after you shoot it and it dies, it's halal to eat. You just have to say Bismillah before you shoot the gun. Okay. Well, and let's just say you work in a slaughterhouse and you just press one button and it just chops off the head of, let's just say, 40 sheep at one time. If you just have to say Bismillah, then you click the button, cuts off the head, and it's halal to eat.
You want to take that question to the ulama?
Okay.
Take that question to the ulama. They don't even do that in most slaughterhouses. They have it's not even a person that says it. They have a recorder. Bismillah, 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 Bismillah. I don't know, man. Welcome to America, man. All right. So the point is that here you see this is the walima of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to show that it's not necessary that a person has what slaughters a camel, slaughters a cow, slaughters all the. The person he has the walima with what? With what's in his means. With whatever is in his means. So if all he has is dates, aqd, summon, that's what he invites the people over. Because obviously, if these are your companions, these are people that you're close to, they should understand. They know your situation. They're not trying to, you just want to celebrate his joy. Celebrate it together, even if it's just like bread and tea. Oh yeah, man, you don't know about that. Oh, problem is you were in Yemen, man. You were too small. Y'all probably ate it, but you just don't remember. That's the thing. Yeah. Ooh, you take some summon and you melt it down, and you dip the dates in it. Oh, whoa. You talking about? Whoa. Yeah, man. But you're gonna have some major cholesterol problems. But that is good. That is super. You had that before?
The what?
You just take the dates and you put it in the summon, but you gotta heat the summon up to like melt it, so it's like liquid. Or some people they actually put the summon in the frying pan, they melt it down and put the dates and just mix them in while they're hot, and then put that into into a plate. Oh, that's so nice. I used to sit there in Damaj, and I would get the fresh summon that was made from the cows of Damaj, right? The fresh one, like they just brought it, like they just made it. Man, I would just sit there and just dip the dates into it. You can't touch it with you gotta be careful. You have to take the summon out, because if you touch it with your fingers, and you'll see like the next day just all this mold starts growing on it. You can't touch it, not with your fingers. You have to like scoop it out, and I just sit there and just like once I scooped it out, put it into a thing and it melts. Sit there and just dip the dates in it and eat it. Oh, that's good, man. I'll be running around the match like a crackhead after that, man. I have so much energy.
Gives you energy.
Yeah, this is pure. This is like the pure milk fat. From an actual cow that hasn't been shot up with all these injections, and the milk has not been homogenized and heated up and pasteurized.
Wait till Muhammad Somali hears about this cow.
No, you need to go talk to Muhammad Somali about the Otka, man.
He probably doesn't even know.
His brother said, I'm Libyan and I don't think I'll ever eat a hyena. Well, you need to go back and go back to your country and ask them to make you one, inshallah.
Look at David smiling.
So, you've been in the West too long, man. You've been westernized. Go eat a hyena. Live your life.
Who said Shah?
All right, so hadith number 1048. On Rajulan min ashab an-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're not going to go over this again because we already went over this. So this is narrated from a man from the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قال إذا اجتمع داعيان فأجب أقربهما بابا فإن سبق أحدهما فأجب الذي سبق. رواه أبو داود وسنده ضعيف. All right, so yes, أخرج أبو داود, and the chain of narration of this hadith is Khalid ad-Dalani. And he's Saduq, ولكن يخطئ كثيرا, like he has a lot of mistakes in his narration of hadith. وكان يدلس, and he's also from the Mudallisin. So that's why also this narration Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah also said it's da'if. But we'll go over the meaning of the hadith anyway. So he said that a companion from the Prophet ﷺ said, if you get invited to two different weddings, so either ijtama'a da'iyan, so you got two people, like when they invite you on the same day, and of course this is the same day, generally it's going to be at the same time, because most weddings are what? They all happen at the same time. You're going to notice this. If you go to Arab countries, it's not going to be like a wedding on Monday. No, they're going to start doing the walima normally on Thursday or Friday, once the weekend hits, right? So if you get invited to two at one time, what do you do? So he says what? He said, دَاعِيًا فَأَجِبْ أَقْرَبَهُمَا بَابًا. So you answer the one who's closest to your door. So if they're your neighbors, and you got one that lives the 2 doors down and one that lives 5 doors down, then which one do you answer? 2 doors down. But I mean, honestly, if you could, in this type of situation, if they're your neighbors, you could probably make it to both of them. Like go there, eat a little bit, and go there and eat a little bit, just to make sure that you showed up at both of them. If that's possible, then that's what you should do. All right. But here it says, فَإِنْ سَبَقْ أَحَدُهُمَا فَأَجِبَ الَّذِي سَبَقْ. And if one of them invited you first, like for example, they both invited you like on Tuesday, but this guy invited you, like he saw you after Salat al-Fajr, and he invited you. This guy, he didn't see you until Salat al-Asr, and then he invited you. So what do? Hey, you let the guy know, I'm sorry, I've already been invited to this guy's wedding. But if they're close and there's a way that you can go and try to visit both of them, then you should try that, try to do that. But if not, then you go to the one who invited you first, obviously. All right, even if it's a small time difference between the two. Because it's easy, the guy comes up to you and says, hey, come to my wedding. Hey, I've already been invited to this wedding. I probably won't be able to make it. And just let them know, if I can get there to visit, I'll do it. But otherwise, I can't make it. Like I said, the hadith is da'if. And it just goes back to the customs of the people, right? So normally, most of the times, the walima for the men is normally held in the same area, the same neighborhood. So if they're your neighbors, there'll be like a tent over here and a tent over there. You go visit this tent, then visit that tent, and then go home. And don't sleep all night, because all those tents, what are they doing in them tents? Just smoking mada'a and chewing cot. They don't smoke shisha, that's a mada'a.
In Yemen, when I was in Sana'a, I went to one of the weddings, shisha.
Nah, but you probably went to one of those weddings of those
there was a bunch of Houthis there.
the rich dudes. The mada'a, it's the same. The mada'a that they smoke is the same type of thing as the shisha. But it's that old school pipe. But the tobacco is like that old Turkish tobacco that they smoke. So when they smoking in that stuff, man, the whole place just stinks like smoke, man. It's worse because the shisha, when they smoke that in the areas, it's got like the fruity type. So the smell is not, you know they're smoking shisha, right? You can smell it.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as that old school Turkish tobacco that them old Yemeni smoke. That's junk. You can smell that thing from like 2 miles away, man. Like when they're smoking that. It's very, very strong.
That was before I knew the reality of the Houthis. This was years ago. I told you when I went to one of them, it was like a very big wedding in Sana'a. The whole place was like almost like 90% of just Houthis. They're outside, like you could identify a Houthi truck, obviously, if they have the green, if they have a picture of themselves, and obviously they have a rifle. Like that's the alam of them being Houthi.
What are you laughing about? Memories.
And when I was there was like, maybe like 50 trucks just full of them.
Striving Slave said, we'll have a dose on that Hijrah book you mentioned by Ibn al-Qayyim. There's no way that we could sit down and go through that whole entire book. That would take forever. I mean, maybe take like certain sections out of it. I'm going to reread it, inshallah, soon. So if maybe I'll take like little snippets out of it. But that's a very, very deep book, and yeah. That's not even the type of book that you could sit down and just read like 30, 40 pages from. You read like 3 or 4 pages and you're like, I'm done. My head can't take no more. Anonymous, I think you've already asked this question, and if I'm not mistaken, I've already answered it. He said, what to memorize after finishing Arba'una Nawawiyya with the Ziyad of Ibn Rajab? I told you, you can go to whatever you want. I mean, that's the whole purpose of why I wrote the Daily Hadith. The book that I wrote, I'm just making sure. I'm not trying to look like I'm advertising for oil, so I'm making sure that there's like www.oil.com or something. The Daily Hadith book that I wrote was for that purpose, so that, because it's 365 hadiths. So it's like that bridge, because when you finish, like what the students used to do in the Majlis, they used to always go from Arba'in to like Riyadh al-Salihin. Akhi, you're going from like 40 hadiths to what? To 2,000 something hadiths. Akhi, that's a huge jump, Wait till I finish. So that's a huge jump, right? So that was the whole purpose. So that's why what we used to do is we used to take the hadith from Riyadh al-Salihin that we liked a lot, that we used to hear a lot, and we used to write them down in notebooks and start memorizing them like that. So by the time that we got to Riyadh al-Salihin to memorize it, then it's easy. And that's why I wrote the book in the first place. So you take like this book that we're going over, and you just write the hadith out. Write them out in the notebook. It's 365 hadiths, and memorize that. And then if you want to, then after that, you want to go to Bulugh al-Maram, or you want to go to, Lu'lu' wa Marjan, whatever, that's you. You do whatever you want. Go whatever path you choose to take.
Should memorizing Bulugh al-Maram be before memorizing Riyadh al-Salihin, or is it up to you? Or which one's better?
I would memorize Riyadh al-Salihin first. But, it's kind of hard, right, man? Because our hearts are so messed up. I would advise the people, but the thing is like Bulugh al-Maram is your actions. That's a hard choice, man. See, if you ask me one day, I would say Bulugh al-Maram, and you might ask me the next day, and I'll say Riyadh al-Salihin. It just depends on the situation. It's really the person's gonna have to make that decision for themselves, because I would say this, right? I would say at the very least, memorize the first 5 books of Bulugh al-Maram. Like memorize Kitab.
Oh, I thought you meant like books, like
no, Sabah al-Khair.
There's more.
Kitab al-Tahara, Kitab al-Salat, Kitab al-Janaiz. Okay, maybe 6 books. Kitab al-Zakat, Kitab al-Siyam, or Kitab al-Sawm, and Kitab al-Hajj. So the first 6 books. I would say memorize that at least first, because now you got all the ibadah that you have to do on a regular basis. You got that taken care of, and then maybe go memorize. But like I said, I mean, most of like that right there, akhi, that's, those are hadith that I mean, look, man, this is a book that I compiled myself, and I go back and because I have all this written down in notebooks, so I have, like, if you go, like, in my house, I don't read out of this book ever. I read out of the notebooks, that I've had every hadith handwritten, and I even have more added to this. Like, there's more than 365, but I only published 365 hadiths, but there's actually more than that. But the point is like, I read through that book and I'm like, bam, bam, bam. Like, as you're reading through it, it's just every single hadith is it just knocks you down, man. So that's what you need. So take something like, I would say, honestly, and it's not because I wrote the book, but I would say memorize that first and then memorize Bulugh al-Maram. Because like, this is going to give you everything that you need. If you have to give a khutbah, you have to give a talk, you have to give, you pretty much, you have enough, And it also is like all the hadith to deal with the issues of the heart and patience and humility and all the characteristics of the believer. All of that, you get it, but it's just not like Riyadh al-Salihin. So, and plus you don't have the hadith that are da'if. So. Any other questions?
What's the khutbah going to be about?
You wait till tomorrow. This is what happens when you grow up in the West. You want like a movie preview. Give us a preview of the khutbah before tomorrow. Nobody asks a question, because normally people ask questions and I answer with stuff that's going to be in the khutbah. And then I tell you, haha, that's from the khutbah tomorrow. But nobody asks any questions like that. So I guess it's like, it's going to be a surprise.
Now these AirPods, AirPods that I need that's going to help me so much.
Striving Slave says, is Sheikh Akram Nadawi a good scholar to take knowledge from? I don't know. Who is it?
I don't know who that is.
You ever heard of him?
Never.
No, I don't know who he is.
I don't know if a scholar even named Akram.
I don't know.
These are the Sheikh of Nak. Obviously,
Is that who he is?
you know Nak, right? Obviously.
Yeah, I know. There's still someone hung a taweez outside my cousin's house. Burn it. Burn it.
What's Louise?
Like the thing that they use to protect them from the ayn.
Oh, that.
Shit.
Take it and
Yeah,
burn
I
it.
know, I think I know.
It could be minor shirk, it could be major shirk, depending on the situation.
Even a better idea, why not memorize both books? I mean, you're supposed to memorize both books, but he's talking about which book to memorize first.
I
You
want
know.
you
Because both of them you really need. You know, Riyadh al-Salihin is just one of those books that you could just sit back and just read it. I would say this, at the very least, if you memorize Bulugh al-Maram, then you should set time aside every day to read Riyadh al-Salihin. Because when you're just dealing with ahkam all day long, ahkam, akhi, you need that stuff to like soften up your heart a little bit. Because, you know, what you're going to be reading all day long is, you know, they had اختلاف in this, and then this ينقسم إلى ثلاثة أقسام, and this is, and then they have 5 different statements, and it's just on and on and on and on and on. It's like something like your heart, it needs that nutrition. So reading books of tafsir to understand the Quran, so that way when you read the Quran, you're getting what you're supposed to get out of the Quran, because that's the best nutrition. But after that is the sunnah, and reading those ahadith that remind you of the akhirah, remind you of death, remind you of the grave, remind you of the day of judgment, all that type of stuff that you see in Riyadh al-Salihin. That's not better than Riyadh al-Salihin.
I mean, of course, bro,
Yeah.
if you want like heart softening.
Now, that's the best heart softener. You read Riyadh al-Salihin, boy, that'll get you. That'll get you. You just hadith after hadith is just going to be busting you and knocking you to the ground.
So I want you to rate this, right? So obviously, there's a situation with me because it's going to Yemen, right? But when it comes
No, leave that personal stuff later, inshallah.
No, because it's about the subject of memorizing hadith. So like I'm planning on obviously memorizing Bulugh al-Maram, Riyadh al-Salihin, and al-Muntaqa from the grandfather Ibn Taymiyyah. What do you think about memorizing al-Muntaqa?
I don't know anybody that did it. I mean, if you got the memory to do it, do it. It's much better than Bulugh al-Maram. And that's why I tell you, you memorize Bulugh al-Maram, but you should spend a lot of time really going through al-Muntaqa. That should be the book that you focus on as far as getting fiqh. Like Bulugh al-Maram is just a mukhtasar. It's just for children, basically. This is the basics, like the very, very, this is like, lowest, like you can't get, this is what you need to know. And al-Muntaqa is when you really, really, really want to go. You really want to understand it, because he's going to be bringing all the ahadith from both sides and all the evidence. And then you read Nail al-Awtar from Shawkani. So now that's but I don't know about memorizing it. If you want to memorize it, do it. It's definitely not a loss.
Or should someone memorize al-Lu'lu wal-Marjan before al-Muntaqa?
Anonymous. I don't know any hadith authentic about anything where the Prophet ﷺ's favorite color was green. He encouraged the people to wear white clothing, not green clothing. So these Sufis, they can do whatever they want, but this is what was encouraged. Huh? What you said?
Or should someone memorize al-Lu'lu wal-Marjan before al-Muntaqa?
It depends. I mean, if you already got Riyadh al-Salihin, all you need is a hadith of ahkam. So that's what you're focusing on, then get al-Muntaqa. But it's not that easy. That's like 5,000 plus hadith.
Take like 4 years to do it.
Said Ustad is the blue eye that's prevalent in many Muslim countries. Major shirk or minor shirk, it depends on the person's belief.
We just said that.
If they think that this is just a wasila, that's really that Allah protects you, but it protects you through this thing, That's minor shirk. But if you think that this thing is what protects you, then the person left the deen. And that's shirk al-akbar. Mukhrij min al-millah. There's nobody, nothing, nobody and no thing has any type of tasarruf and no way to protect you. Only Allah can protect you. None of these things, none of these are even asbab. These are not even asbab, akhi. These people are just making this stuff up out of their own heads, out of their own imagination. Well, that has something to do with it, and just to keep shaitan, just to keep the people steeped in ignorance and stupidity. So this is from the trace of Jahiliyyah.
Was Amir Sanani, was he more knowledgeable than Shawkani?
I wouldn't say he's more knowledgeable. They both had their fadila, their fadl. So, Assalamu alaikum. Are you familiar with the hadith from Sahihain regarding the two and then two sunnah prayers before the khatib? The person who comes into the Jum'ah, he prays as much as he wants to pray until the khatib gets up. If you want to pray 2, 4, 6, you pray as much as you want until the khatib. Once the khatib gets up on the minbar, then it's over. You stop. That's it. Instead that we find someone's cigarettes, should we dispose of it or give it to the owner? If they're going to spend money to buy more cigarettes, get rid of them, throw them out. How much money do they got nowadays to spend on cigarettes? How much is a pack of cigarettes nowadays?
When I back in 2018, it was like $9 for a pack, $6.99 depending. $6.99, like $9 for the more expensive one. $6.99 was just the regular one.
So like 13, 14 bucks.
Oh yeah.
Like airports.
One pack.
Yeah, like airports. You pay like 14 bucks.
Whew.
I knew a Yemeni, he would smoke 4 in one day, 4 packs of Marlboro Reds in one day.
How does he afford that?
He used to work, and then you just take from because he used to work at the place where they would sell. He used to work at a store, and he would sell, and he would just take it he would get it for free.
That's crazy, akhi. When I left America, I think you can get a whole carton of cigarettes for like $18.
Though, he actually did start. He started praying. SubhanAllah, Allah guided him, and he started to pray. We tried so hard. Salli, yalla, it's waqt salah, and then
4 packs of Marlboros with $8, $9 a piece. Wow, man. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money just to support a habit that's going to kill you.
sorry, 3.
Man, MA, I don't want to see that stuff either. Destroy it. Destroy it. If it's not Quran, and even if it's the Quran, you burn it and get rid of it because they're using it for whatever they're using it for. That's not permissible anyways.
You know those blue amulets? When I used to still work at the restaurant like 2 years ago, I seen it. Like I took it, I got a hammer, I went to the back, boom, broke, and I just threw it in the trash. I'm being serious, bro. I posted on Snap too. I'm on Snap on Instagram. I said,
Anonymous, I'll go and check the hadith, inshallah.
You can't even protect yourself. I broke it.
Because that doesn't mean that that's in clothing. Because it can habul alwani ila Rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam al-khadira. Al-khadira is the loan. Like that could mean sitting outside and looking at trees. Like this is what he likes. Because looking at like the green, like the trees and stuff like that, it causes like the eyes and the mind to relax. Maybe it could be that. It doesn't necessarily mean clothing. But that doesn't mean that was his favorite clothing. Because if that was his favorite clothing, he didn't wear it. It wasn't in any, so. And just because it's in Silsilat Sahih, it doesn't mean it's Sahih. So.
Is it more likely to be Sahih though?
Allahu A'lam. But based on the opinion of Shaykh Al-Albani, yes. Hamid Jamal says, our good brother Abu Abdullah Na'im does Muhammad ibn Saud, and Sheikh Abdul Hakim has 2 books on Arabic Ta'bir. It's very beneficial. I think he's responding to somebody else, huh? I don't know. You responding to somebody else or something or what? Oh yeah. For someone who doesn't know Arabic, what percentage of their time in the beginning should be spent on learning Arabic? 75%. And 25% you should spend on memorizing the Quran. And, well, 20% on memorizing the Quran, 5% on stop hiccuping. You were laughing, right?
I did it on the way out. I'm not sure if you heard me after I see you smiling.
All right. Ahsanallahu ilaykum.
Oh.
I'm asking for a sister. Yes, that name again. I saw a pack of fake eyelashes in our house. Is it permissible if I throw it away? Absolutely. It may be for the guests who's staying with us, then you shouldn't allow guests with fake eyelashes to stay in your house. Phony people, keep phony people out your house.
Looks like those cholas.
Yeah, people with fake eyelashes, fake hair, fake everything, keep them out your house, or else you're gonna have real problems. Fake people cause real problems. So now all that garbage, I wouldn't get rid of it. If you see that stuff lying around, destroy it. Destroy it. You see a wig sitting on a dresser, go back and give it to the horse it came from.
Those fake eyelashes, they look like those Mexican tacky fat girls. Those big cholas. You know what a chola is, right? Those big
Man, you gotta start making people angry now, man.
We're gonna sit down and say, pick up a few words in Spanish now.
This ain't Spanish, Akhi. This is like American Spanish. This is Mexican American Spanish. Ain't no Mexican saying those words in Mexico.
You do. I mean, at the work.
Yeah, because they're here in America. These are American words. I'm talking about big eyelashes. I don't know what Mexican girls in Mexico wearing no eyelashes like that.
Here, like in the schools, they can testify to it too. In the high school, these girls, they wear eyelashes. It looks like this. It looks like this.
And they think that stuff looks good, Akhi. Wallahi, who lied to them?
It looks like they're about to fly away.
Who lied to them, man? Seriously.
It literally looks like.
I'm surprised they don't like get home, man, and they got like mosquitoes and like spiders and stuff stuck in their eyelashes, Akhi. And the picked up stuff, in the wind,
Looks like a little ant can get a surfing board and start surfing. Wait, is it true that the Prophet ﷺ cursed?
He said, don't criticize Mexicans, subhanAllah.
I don't criticize anyone.
It's not criticizing Mexicans. You're only criticizing
A ta'ifa.
a group from amongst the Mexicans.
Well, I'm not saying Mexicans are like this.
Because now he's got to work in a Mexican supermarket owned by Yemenis. So it's like
I work with Mexicans all day, and this guy's telling me I can't. Who am I to talk about Mexicans? I live with them my whole life. Majority now.
Now, Mexicans are good people. Like if you could speak to them and start calling them, giving them dawah.
They're good. A lot of them are very, especially like the ones my age. Like they're gonna have a problem with not having girlfriends and all that, but that's not worth it.
Akhi, that's the least thing that they need to be concerned about. The most important thing is because that's the whole thing. Like, why do people do that? Oh, Islam, we don't have girlfriends. No, Islam, we believe in Tawheed. Let's start with that. Let's start with La ilaha illallah, and then all that stuff will work itself out as the people will start to, and start understanding that the most important thing in this life is obedience to Allah. But you just a lot of people, they start to dawah with this type of stuff. You can't have a girlfriend. Why would you say, is this what the Prophet ﷺ used to tell the people when he went to them and give them dawah? And you teach them Tawheed, you teach them about the obedience to Allah, that this takes precedence over obedience to everybody. Right? We're put on this earth to obey Allah. And then over time, Akhi, they'll start to leave off that stuff on their own as they learn more. They don't want to do that stuff anymore on their own. Just like the Sahaba, they didn't need to be told those things in the beginning. They were ready to obey Allah and His Messenger, so they left it off. When those things, as they learned that this is haram and this is haram, they left it off. But you start with Tawheed. That's the main. That's our dawah. That's what we do. We teach the people about the importance of, all right, the guy's still drinking, the guy's still smoking, the guy's still. Akhi, first off, let's focus on getting this person to first you accept Tawheed. After he accepts Tawheed, what do you go to next? And that doesn't mean that, you just say, oh, there's no God worthy of worship but Allah. Do you accept this? No, Tawheed, is more. You got to sit down and teach the people. Yeah, and then you teach them Salat. Teach them to pray. You get them in the masjid.
Teach them the pillars of Iman. The pillars of Iman. And then
فلما بعث معاذا إلى اليمن فقال إنك تأتي قوما من أهل الكتاب فليكن أول ما تدعوهم إليه شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وفي رواية إلا أن يوحدوا الله فإنهم أطاعوك لذلك فعلمهم أركان الإيمان فعلمهم إيش أن الله افترض عليهم 5 صلوات في كل يوم وليلة فإنهم أطاعوك لذلك فعلمهم أن الله افترض عليهم صدقة تؤخذ من أغنيائهم فترد على فقرائهم فإنهم أطاعوك لذلك فإياك وكرائم أموالهم واتق دعوة المظلوم فإنه ليس بينها وبين الله حجاب. What do you want? Huh? إيش؟ فإنها دعوة. It goes back to the da'wah. فإنها ليس بين فإنه ليس بينها وبين الله حجاب. Yeah, you're right. We're arguing over the wording. I'm trying to get the concept into the man's head. The first thing, the da'wah to Tawheed. Once they accept the Tawheed, but they accept it fully, teach them the conditions of La ilaha illallah. Teach them like this is what it's about. This is why you're studying Kitab al-Tawheed, so you can take all that and condense it down to what the people need at that time. And then you teach them little by little. But then you teach them how to pray. Because the salat is, if they don't pray correctly and they're not getting what they need to get out of the salat, are they ever going to leave off those sins? Huh? Are they? No, answer the question. You're running from the question.
No, I'm not running.
No, doesn't answer the answer the question. See, he didn't even listen to the question. He's over there. Oh, this is this young generation. They're just thinking like, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say?
I'm not a debater. No,
Listen.
because Allah.
No. You're going. You teach them salat because can they leave off the sins without the salat?
Can they leave sins without salah? No.
Why? What's the delil for that? Okay, that's what I wanted you to say. It's the salat. It's like what? Does the tanha and al-fahsha wal munkar. So if the person is not getting what he needs to get out of his salat, then he's not going to leave that stuff off anyways. And if he does leave it off for a small period of time, what is he going to do? He's going to go right back to it. Once he starts to desire it again, because maybe he lost the desire for it because he just became a Muslim. But then that desire returns. And what's going to be there to protect him when that desire returns? So, no, we don't start off with just like, this is haram, this is haram. We start teaching them Tawheed, get them in the masjid, get them praying. And then you start to see the desire for those things just what? Just go away. Just go away, akhi.
Now, maybe the dudes. I correct myself is because I had said the pillars of Iman first but I realized okay, I forgot because when you say La ilaha illallah, it refutes what I said. It's because I was going to say the pillars of Iman because a lot of people here in this, obviously the hadith of the Prophet is way much more better than what I say. It's because a lot of people in this, from my age, they believe that the angels are daughters of Allah. That's why.
I'm saying you can go into that. You can go into that. Right now, he needs to understand Tawheed because he's accepting Islam. He needs to understand Salat because that's what he's going to be doing every day. Then you can sit down with him and go over the Hadith of Jibril. You can sit down with him and go over Allah Surah Thalatha and these types. As once he's a Muslim and now that he's starting to learn, now you start to go over all these. But first, he needs what he needs. He needs to understand the Shahada first, and he needs to understand how to pray and how to get what he needs to get out of Salat. He said, "Is it haram?" I don't even know what the "is it haram" thing is referring to, honestly.
It was haram to pay $5 for a raffle ticket, and then they pull. Everybody gets a ticket with a number, and they pull it out.
No, that's not permissible. That's a waste of money. Yeah.
It's a major sin.
You're spending your money on what? And then you got the highest percentage chance that you're not going to get anything. And then the garbage that they might give you as a prize for that, what? It's probably cheaper than the money that, it's not permissible. It's not permissible at all. All right, y'all ready to go? It's 9:40, man. Tomorrow's Friday. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. We gotta get some dinner, man.